Pattinson coming up Wednesday. He stars with our next guest in a fascinating new movie called Cosmopolis. And the Emmy and Golden Globe winning actor Paul Giamatti joins us now. Great to have you back.
Hey, man. How are you?
I am doing very well.
Thank you.
This movie really is something, kind of a head trip.
Very much
Yeah,
so.
Robert Pattinson plays a billionaire, very young Wall Street trader. You're kind of his stalker, would-be assassin. And it's described as a fable that turns the future into history. Did that sound right to you?
Holy cow. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, it's like a kind of science fiction-y, it's a kind of black comedy, it's a sort of satire, it's a lot of things.
And it does hit on a lot of things that are in the news right now. You were actually filming when all these Occupy Wall Street protests started, and a lot of that resonates through the movie.
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's accurate about a lot of things. It wasn't trying to be. The book was written 10 years ago, and it was already pretty...
Yeah, right after 9/11
it
was written.
So it's like... But then, while we were shooting it, there's a thing when there's a guy who hits people with pies in it.
And like Robert Pattinson gets one.
And Robert Pattinson gets one, and as we were shooting it, Rupert Murdoch got a pie when he was doing that whole thing in London. So stuff was happening.
And it's still going on right now. And you actually don't appear in the movie until the very end, but it is one of the most intense, and to use a word I've already used this morning, impressive scenes, 20 minutes head-to-head with Robert Pattinson. And as I said, you've been stalking him. Let's show a little bit of it right here.
You are foully and berserkly rich. Don't tell me about your charities.
I have no charities.
I know this.
You don't resent the rich. That's not your sensibility.
What's my sensibility?
Confusion. This is why you're unemployable.
Why?
Because you want to kill people.
That's not why I'm unemployable.
Then why?
Because I stink.
So you guys are right in the middle of a debate that's raging right now, and then it veers off.
Absolutely, it goes all over the place. This movie, and it was intense to do that. 20 minutes long. You don't get to do that in a play a lot of the time.
No, and it really does bring the whole movie together. I have to ask you. You know, I read somewhere that you actually didn't know much about Robert Pattinson before you worked with him.
No, I didn't know he was. I'd never seen him. Really, I didn't see those movies.
So you didn't know all about the Twilight craziness?
I kind of knew about it, but I'm an old man. I'm just rapidly aging. I'm an old man. My kid is too young to know about that stuff. So I met him. I didn't know he was British. I thought he was screwing around with the accent because I assumed he was American.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I had no idea he was British. I didn't know anything about him.
And so you didn't have to be followed around by all these crowds.
No, but when we were shooting, we were on a studio, so there weren't all these girls around. I was like, I get more girls than this guy does. I was like, what's the big deal? Who cares?
Well, you're doing pretty well here today.
Look at this. But lots of lovely ladies.
But I wouldn't bet a lot against a bigger crowd for Robert Pattinson on Wednesday.
Really, you think so? You think maybe some people will show? Yeah, it's intense what he does.
I got to ask you also about your other big movie this summer, Loved Rock of Ages. You went back to the 80s with a lot of other big stars there as well. Was it fun to go back to that decade?
It was fun in the movie to do it. I wouldn't actually want to do it.
Why not?
I was in high school in the 80s, which was fine, but it was high school, man. I actually prefer it now. It was, things were okay. But
I prefer life as a movie star to high school.
I prefer life as a movie star, to being in high school. So, I mean, it was great to do it in the movie. I loved getting to sing. I didn't have to sing much, but I loved, wearing the ponytail and stuff like that. It was great.
Meanwhile, you've also developed something of a specialty playing presidents. John Adams on that terrific HBO series. And now you're doing the voice of Teddy Roosevelt in the new Ken Burns documentary?
Yeah. He's done a new documentary. It's about all three of the Roosevelts, Teddy and FDR and Eleanor. And I think Meryl Streep does Eleanor. Yeah, I did Teddy Roosevelt. And more presidents. I'd love to play Grover Cleveland.
Bring them on, right?
Yeah, William Howard Taft, those guys. I'd love to do them, sure.
Well, you are fantastic in this. Very far from a president.
Very sorry, sadly.
But it's really fantastic. So, Paul, thanks for coming back.
Thanks a lot, George. Thank you.
And Cosmopolis opens on Friday.